This is the Sports Timeout Podcast with CJ Perry, Tony Caranco, Tristan Howe, and your host, Wes Underwood.
It's that time again, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Timeout Podcast, brought to you by Jefferson's and Kraken Cajun Seafood House in Joplin. If you're in the mood for some fresh Cajun, head on over to Kraken Cajun Seafood House across from Moe's on Main Street. And if you're in the mood for some wings, head on over to Jefferson's behind Books A Million on Rangeline. Wes Underwood, along with Tony and Tristan. And welcome back, fellas. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Howdy.
Good. And, well, on that note, let's go ahead and talk some sports. And we'll open up in the NWSL. And we talk the Kansas City Current. They looked phenomenal again against the San Diego Wave FC this week. And I got a chance to sit down with defender Hallie Mace and midfielder Desiree Scott as they answered some questions about the game and how they continue to have fun at this point in the season on their 9-game winning streak.
I think we're just doing our principles and following what we do in training every day, and it's when someone releases forward, we support from behind. So I was honestly just doing that on the goal and ended up getting a lot of space and a shot off.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I was away for country, I was still tuning in on Twitch and trying to find links to check the game out. And just kudos to the squad for putting in that shift and staying unbeaten. I mean, you can really just see a togetherness and a belief and just the partnerships that are building and the connections on the field. You know, people are working for one another and we're just becoming more and more of a team. And you can see those, on the right side of the pitch, you can see people understanding each other's roles a bit more and who they are as individuals and just that connection coming together all across the pitch as we build through this season. So it was incredible to see. Great to come back in with the squad and to continue this unbeaten record.
Hey, ladies. So you guys mentioned that you guys are out there enjoying this winning streak. What's making it fun, and how do you guys keep it fun?
I think at training, we do small little drills that we have continued to do throughout the season that I think brings a lot of joy. It's competitive, and when we get to game time, we just go out and play how we want to play and not necessarily worry so much about the other team. So as long as we're doing that, we're honestly having a lot of fun.
We've got one more game on the road, but then the team is back August 19th. The team is looking to break the 10,000 people mark. What does that mean? What does the fan attendance mean to you and the rest of the team?
It means a lot, honestly. When we're playing at home, I just feel the vibe and I feel the support on the field. Our spirit section is awesome and we hear them throughout the game. So getting 10,000 fans would mean the world to us, and we're playing for you guys. So as long as we can get you out there, we're going to keep doing that.
Good things to come there for the Current, and more good things to come here as now we continue to sporting. And man, did they erupt on Saturday night or what? We got a chance to catch up with Coach after the game, and here's what he had to say.
Have you ever been kissed on the cheek in a goal celebration before?
I've never been strangled. How about that? Hey, when he came running and he wanted to jump and you catch him, I'm a decently fit guy, but I don't know if I was catching that. But it was good.
But
he told me yesterday if he scores, he's going to do that. So
okay.
I was a little bit prepared. I wouldn't say sigh of relief. I would say more of I think I've said this a lot of times. There's been games where we score goals, but then we've give up silly goals. And there's games where we defend really well, but then we don't score. And we just haven't put a good, we have done it. I shouldn't say we haven't, but there's been games here recently. We just haven't put 90 minutes together. And I thought today we did. I'm not in agreement with the handball for them. No chance. I mean, we just had the same exact thing last week. It's different when the ball hits your leg and bounces up and hits you in the hand. No chance. Not like that. But there are opportunistic goals. Like his first goal, he's fighting for it, right? He wants to get it in there. He's doing everything he can, first, second, third, whatever, he's doing it. And then Daniel on the fourth goal, very opportunistic to fight for it, to keep fighting for it. And that's the thing that I'm proud of. So I think it's a deserving result of when you got good concentration in the game and you and we talked about it before we went on the field. It's three things. It's you got to attack, you got to defend, and you got to be good on set pieces. And I think we did that for the most part.
And we will now bring in Daniel Sperry of the Kansas City Star. Welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Doing good, guys. It's great thanks for having me on. It's been nice to see you guys at the games the last couple of weeks. So yeah, good to have you guys out covering the team up here in Kansas City. I know Sporting loves all the coverage that they can get. So new faces to the press box, the locker room, and all that kind of fun stuff makes for a good time up at Children's Mercy Park.
Yeah, it's been awesome, and I apologize on behalf of Tristan for standing up in front of you taking pictures.
Oh.
That was on us. So
no,
Yeah, that's my bad.
Okay. Well,
But,
sometimes you don't realize like how the viewing angle is so steep from the press box down
Yes.
there. Like even sometimes I'm completely blocked off from the corners. No matter like if someone is sitting where you guys were sitting at, like I like have to really. I'm short too, so it doesn't help. But I really have to like sit up and like lean over to like get the action all the way down into the corners sometimes. So
yeah,
it's all right.
understand.
And it doesn't help any that I was getting really excited. So it was a lot to get excited about.
For the first time in a while this year, yeah.
Yes. So on that, I mean, you followed Sporting for quite some time now. This year has been a tough one to follow, as you just kind of mentioned there a little bit. And after that game, though, this past Saturday, what were your thoughts on that game? And did you expect that from Sporting?
I've been waiting for the win to come. That's kind of how I felt. I think this team they're too good for how bad that they've been. And they keep making so many mistakes that cost them games, especially in a league that it has very thin margins for error. A league that is based on trying to keep the rosters and the spending as even as possible across the board. Compared to where if you follow European soccer, there's especially the Premier League, right? There's 6 teams that have just gobs and gobs of money and can get whoever the heck they want on their roster. And very occasionally do those other 14 teams break into that. MLS has its teams that are run very well and run very efficiently, and Sporting is usually one of them. But when in this league, when you're missing 2 of your best players for the entirety of the season, I mean, we're talking for your listeners who are Chiefs fans, take away Travis Kelce and take away Patrick Mahomes for the entire season.
Yeah.
What are you going to get from the Chiefs? I mean, you're not going to expect 10 wins. You're going to be very happy if you make playoffs. And I think, even at the beginning of the season, you're probably missing Alan Polito for the entire year. That's fine. But then right before the end of the first window closes, then you find out that you're going to be missing Gadi Kinda, who is an incredibly good attacking player. But for all that said, and for how bad they've looked at times, really, I mean, since end of May, June, they've looked like they've been in almost every single game that they've played in. And it has been a constant thing, a rash of boneheaded mistakes, some young mistakes, young players in situations where they just didn't quite have the answer yet to the problem that was kind of sitting in front of them, and where to play a pass, where to do stuff, and that led to losses. And they've been so close so many times, put in really good performances really for the last month, and weren't getting rewarded for them, especially at home too. So I was waiting for it to happen. I really thought it was going to happen against Austin last week. And then you had the 6-minute stretch where they just mentally imploded. You got 2 yellow cards, 2 very obvious, very dumb yellow cards that you should not have gotten. First one, maybe, but the second one you absolutely should not have gotten. So that cost them the entire game. That's because now they're down a man. Their goalkeeper lets in a fluky goal that shouldn't have been let in, and you're down a man, down a goal, and you got everything to do in front of you in 45 minutes. For them to finish, the first chance that they got on the game was that goal from Eric Tommy. That set the tone for everything. I think it was a huge sigh of relief in the building. You could see the players start to play with a little bit more freedom, a little bit more confidence. All of a sudden, you've got what you saw in the final 5-6 minutes of that second half, where Sporting were creating all those chances and really stretching it to 2 and then 3. Could have had 4 with the penalty kick, that got saved there too in the first half. So
Yes.
Sporting were all over the Galaxy, and I think the moment that Tommy scored that goal was a moment of brilliance. I mean, it was beautiful play from the team, passes out wide, passes into the striker, back out wide, and then the ball over the top from Roger Espinoza was perfect. But that finish is so difficult to execute when your momentum is going one way, and to even put the shot on target, you have to get your hips and your body flipped around the other way within one touch. And the fact that he did that and turned it as well as it shows you the quality of the player that Eric Tommy is. And I think that goal was just the collective, like, okay, we actually can do this. You guys can play soccer again. You guys can go out and play with some confidence. Know that you're a good team. And they looked like the aggressor. They looked like the confident team from minute 1 to minute 90 on Saturday. That's the first time we've seen that in a very, very long time this season. And I think there's probably some more intricate details to what Eric Tommy and Agata's presence in the lineup brings. But I think in general, I think that was a collective sigh of relief for everybody when that first one went in, and they got a deserved win against the Galaxy. And like I said, I thought it was coming. I was just waiting for it to come through, and they finally got one in. And so we'll see what happens from here on out. But a good turning point maybe in the mentality of some of these guys.
So that's part of my next question. I mean, is that going to be the turning point? Was that their statement game? Do you believe that could happen?
I don't know. MLS is a league that is that is so, like I said earlier, there's so much parity in this league, and it's very, very easy for a team like the Seattle Sounders a couple of years ago. 20 games played, they had 20 points, and that's Sporting. I think at 20 games played, we're at like 19 points. I think they picked up that draw against Minnesota, and then kind of fell after that, and that was their close to, like, it was like 19 or 20 points, whatever, kind of around that mark though. And the Seattle Sounders that year went on to turn everything around. I think they won 7 in a row and ended up getting to the point where they had a shot to be first place in the Western Conference on the final day of the season. The Sounders at that point, I think, had won 11 of their final 14 games. That's something that Sporting hasn't done, and something that a stretch like that is the only way Sporting ends up in the playoffs at this point. We're at 10 games left, I believe, and they're going to have to win 8 or 9 of those. The playoff line traditionally is around 46, anywhere from 45 to 50 points, and really over the last few years, since 2016, the average of that final playoff spot's point total has been 47 points on the season. To get there a couple of weeks ago, Sporting, I think it was before the Austin game, I looked at it, and with 11 games left, Sporting needed to win 9 of those 11 to get to 47 points, or win 8 and draw 3. Now, could that line be a little bit lower this year? Sure. I mean, that's the average, right? So the time's just been 45, 46 possible. I think it's too far for them to really put themselves into playoff contention. But with Gadi Kinda and Alan Polito coming back next year, I think what fans should hope for is kind of a turnaround in the mentality of things, and kind of, is this going to be the turnaround to where this team kind of believes that they can do it? Because if you remember, I think 2010, with Sporting, just before they moved into the new stadium, they were still playing at Community America Ballpark, and they just barely missed out on the playoffs. They were okay through Peter Vermees's first full year. But they weren't, it just didn't quite come together. And then in the second half of the season, guys like Beasley, guys like Zusi, all those players really started to turn a corner and take on their, the trajectories of their careers that eventually, and Roger Espinoza, that eventually happened. So does that, you already have really good foundational pieces, Johnny Russell, Daniel Shalhoub, that'll be Daniel Shalhoub, not 100% sure that he'll be back yet next year, but even if not, I mean, there's still Eric Tommy, who can play on the wing, as he's been playing centrally later. But there's a lot of really good pieces within that roster right now, still, that do they show that they can be a really good foundation for when you plug in the players that are as dynamic and as high quality as Scotty Kinda and Alan Polito next year? Do you have a really good basis for those players to drop back into and put yourselves in the contender that you really thought you were going to be? And I think that's what Sporting are going to have to find out over these next 8 or 9 games. And so part of that future is guys like Felipe Hernandez in the midfield, guys like Cameron Duke in the midfield, guys like Caden Pierre on the back line and John Pulskamp in goal. Those are the 4 youngest players that Sporting have been putting out as of late, and they are, all under the age of 25. Some of them under the age of 20. I mean, Cam Duke is, I think, barely 21. Caden Pierre is 19. Pulskamp is barely 20. So I think there's so much left ahead of these guys' career that if they can make those turns towards the end of the season where you can count on them to be really key pieces to the roster down the road, I think that really helps put Sporting in a good spot for 2023. Never say never on this year, but I think the mountain is just too tall to climb for them at this point.
Yeah, agreed. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we'll get to see you one more time this season up there, and have a great rest of your week, and appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on, guys. Good to see you, Tony. Good to see you guys. Take care.
You too.
Take care.
Good stuff from him. We'll be glad to have him back on the show in the future. And now we head into NCAA, and we talk the top 25. Now, the official list won't be out until August 15th, but they did reveal that Alabama is the projected number 1. First off, are you guys surprised? And second, do you agree? Tristen, we'll start you. I know that you have some stuff to say about OU, so let's go.
It does not surprise me that Alabama is the current number 1 and probably will stay that way for the upcoming season. But, it happens. The team, obviously, to watch for is the Oklahoma Sooners. And who are trailing the Oklahoma Sooners are the Baylor Bears, which they might get another rematch in the Big 12 championship. That's probably what I'm looking forward to. But with the move with Spencer Rattler to South Carolina, the new sheriff in town is Dylan Gabriel from UCF. He's a up-and-coming, very good quarterback. He did very well at UCF, so I'm really excited to see him in a Sooners uniform. And hopefully I might be catching the Kansas State game come September 24th. So hopefully going to see him live in person this upcoming season. Hopefully.
Okay. Tony?
Just to touch on what Tristen said, I know he's looking forward towards the Big 12 championship since he doesn't expect his team to make the playoffs. That's probably what I'd be excited for too. Check out the picture the Wes has over there.
Yeah, I mean, his is even better, and I don't know why he doesn't have it on here. This is Tristen being a Chiefs fan converted now as we get ready to move into the NFL. And we're going to talk our nemesis, Tristen. You have to learn these things now that you're a Chiefs fan. And that would be the Raiders. 1 game into the preseason, and the Raiders are already doing Raider things, as rumor has it that Josh Jacobs, the running back, might be out the door soon. But Raiders' new coach, Josh McDaniels, was quoted saying, "We have a lot of confidence in JJ." The nickname there is very interesting. McDaniels said. And, he did well with his opportunities, which we hoped he would. I mean, that's a pretty vague statement, which is why I said it like that. And, but no, we have no desire to do that at all, talking about the trade. Do you guys think this is true? Tony, you're a Raiders fan. What are your thoughts here?
Man, yeah, I don't think it's true. I mean, I think it's just a bluff, trying to get some more money out of them. I've said this about the last 20 times that something gets brought up. I'm not a fan of people trying to do like holding out or, doing stuff like that for more money.
Yeah.
They're in a position to, that where they make millions of dollars to play a game. And, it's very unfortunate. I mean, if he's not happy there, then I get, then I kind of get it. But if they're just doing it for more money, to me, it's scummy.
Okay. Tristen?
Yeah, I don't think they should, and yeah, I don't think the rumors are true. I mean, the Raiders are pretty stacked at running back. They got Josh Jacobs, and sitting at third string on the depth chart is Kenyon Drake, and you're not gonna make Kenyon Drake come up to second string, especially when he's returning kicks for you. That just doesn't make sense. So for them to trade Josh Jacobs is that's just not right.
Just don't catch him sleeping. Wishing Mahomes was my daddy.
No, no.
Don't get caught being a sleeper, guys. Go ahead. Continue.
No, Josh Jacobs, I think, is going to stay a Raider for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, they're too stacked at running back just to let him go like that. So I think they're going to keep Josh Jacobs at running back.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we will continue in the NFL. And lastly, the moment we've been waiting for. It's been a minute. A lot of things have happened, and we finally get to talk Deshaun Watson trial and what Commissioner Goodell had to say about it. Came out yesterday with a decision saying he would suspend him the whole season. This coming after he says they have seen enough evidence and his actions were rigorous and predatory behavior. I don't like that word. And I mean, that makes it sound even worse, which I mean, it is a bad situation. So predatory behavior. Do you all agree with that now that they found out the evidence and that it's officially there, which wasn't? I mean, I don't know. I'm still confused on this case. So Tony, we'll go you first, then Tristan.
My thing is, I don't know how the NFL can come to a verdict before, the justice system can.
Yeah.
To me, it's ridiculous for the NFL to make a verdict right now. Again, I'm all for people to be held accountable for their actions, and whatever happens, I hope the right thing happens. I hope there is justice at the end of the day. Either Deshaun Watson gets acquitted of any wrongdoing, or they give him the book.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want there to be justice, and I think the NFL jumping in, prematurely to do so is really bad, especially whenever you have people that were suspended for, gambling on games they weren't
That's a
even
Roger
involved.
Goodell for you, though. We talked about it last week.
Yeah, he's terrible at his job, and I don't know how many other people could do his job, better, but if there was a place where I
Paul
could apply,
Tagliabue. I don't remember if he was good or not. He's back. He's way back in.
Point is, Roger Goodell is terrible at his job, and he doesn't need to be the NFL commissioner anymore. But he may be right, but with the decision, I just think it's really premature.
Yeah, Tristan, agree?
Yes and no. Like we were talking probably a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, that the NFL has kicked players out before for lesser things. So obviously we don't know the whole story, but I really do think that Roger Goodell and the NFL know a lot more that they're not willing to put out there into the world. So
an agreement there.
So yes and no. I think it is a tad bit premature, but at the same time, we've also been hearing about this for the past going on year now. And, at some point there needs to be something done about it. And and really at this point, the media really wants you to believe, it seems like, that Deshaun Watson is this evil guy that's just doing these horrible things to women. But
he could be,
they say that they have all this evidence, but where's the evidence?
Yeah, Tony.
I mean, that's the kind of point I'm trying to make here.
Rebuttal.
My thing is, there's another situation where something I would say even worse happened. With Sean Oakman a few years back. They came out saying that he did some things, and later she came out and confessed that none of it was true.
Yeah.
And by that point, nobody wanted to even touch Sean Oakman to play for the football teams.
Yeah.
A guy who would have easily been in the NFL was casted out because of these accusations.
Yeah.
So
lots happened.
To prematurely accuse somebody of something is very, very dangerous and can be very detrimental to their career. Again, if whatever, ends up being the truth, I hope there's some justice behind it.
Indeed. And on that note, we will now head into the local sports update brought to you by Trackside Burgers. And the Webb City 12U baseball team is now undefeated as they get back into game action with, a game tomorrow night after a 4-run rally to win in the 6th inning in game 1. And then in game 2, down 2, they come back to win at 17-7. And, they play again today at 10 a.m. on ESPN Plus. And one of our sponsors, Jefferson's, will be hosting a watch party. So go check it out if you have nothing else to do. And we will finish with the new 2-minute warning. And this is going to turn into high school football for a while, and then it will go back to the NFL. But it's brought to you by Hot Stone Pizzeria. Football in the 4 states continued their fall warm-ups today, and excited for Friday Night Lights, but we do have Thursday Night Lights this week, some preseason football, and we're gonna do Who You Got, and we'll start out with the Giants and the Pats. Who you got in this preseason matchup?
I personally have the Patriots.
Okay.
I will also take the Patriots. Giants are just not good, and I do not have any faith in them this season.
I'll go Giants. I'll be the odd man out here.
Of course you will.
I'll be the odd man out. And then we have Titans and Ravens. Who you got?
I got the Ravens.
Okay.
See,
music's going.
See, I think it's too close to call. I'm going to go Titans on this one.
Okay. All right. I'll take Ravens here. Break that tie. I'll take the Ravens. And, of course, all these games and events are pending to the weather and the current and fluid COVID-19 situation. So tune into each team's social media pages for times and updates on games. And, the music is here. And so is the end of another episode. For Tony, Tristan, CJ, and myself, got that music going on back there. Have a great and safe rest of your week. And we hope you enjoy your weekend as well. Be tuned in this weekend to our page to see how you can be entered into our back to school giveaways. You won't want to miss it. So catch you all next week, and take care.
See ya.
And